We are discussing our first lesson, relations and functions. We have already discussed few topics. First topic what we have discussed? Type of relations. Which type of relations we learn? Empty and universal relation, and then three more relations, reflexive, symmetric and transitive. And if all three relations are satisfied, then you can say it is equivalence. Second topic we learn, that is one and many one function, onto and into. What is the another name of it? Injective, surjective. If function is injective and surjective, you can say it is bijective. Okay. Third topic we learn composition of a function, and with it what we learn? Inverse. So in our last lecture we have completed composition of a function, and today we start inverse of a function. Okay, what is the inverse or inverse of function, or you can say invertible function. Okay, what we learn in invertible function? That if when you combine two functions, f over g or g over f, and if you get for both identity function, then both are said to be inverse of each other. That one already we have discussed. But today one more thing I explain you, that first condition that is true, that f over g and g over f equal to identity, then you can say it is inverse of each other. How can we write inverse of a function? F inverse or g inverse, that way. But one more thing, if function is 1 to 1 and onto, that means if function is bijective, then only its inverse will exist. So what is the condition for existence of a inverse? That the function should be 1 1 and onto. If function is not 1 1 and onto, we cannot find the inverse of it. So whenever you want to find inverse of any functions, what we have to check first? That the function should be 1 1 and onto. And another thing, suppose you have given f and g two functions, so combine it and check is it identity or not. If it is identity, then both are inverse of each other. And only single function is given, then what you have to check first? Function should be 1 1 and onto, you prove it first, and then if function is bijective, then only you can find the inverse. Okay, now let's come to the definition. This is the basic idea of inverse. Now we discuss definition of it. If function from x to y is given, then its inverse will exist from y to x. And if function is this, its f inverse can be written is like this. What I have changed? Domain became codomain and codomain became domain for inverse. So this is the easiest way to understand inverse function. Now we come to the examples. Our first example is given, 23rd example in your textbook. Okay, check it. Function is given f n to y. What is the another thing is given? Function mentioned by this. Okay, now we discuss it in both way. First with composition also, and second with 1 1 and onto also. This is your linear equation, we already know. What is the linear equation? If your function in format of ax plus b, this is our linear form. So if function in this form, then we can say it is 1 1 and onto. So you can prove it is 1 1 and onto, and afterwards you can find inverse. In your book, which method is shown? That is compositions method. So let's come to that method. First we make equation for x. So what is your equation? Y minus 3 by 4. Now let's take this as a g of y. Which function we have made? Y minus 3 by 4. Now what I want to do? G over f of x I want to find. So g of fx. Now tell me, what is your fx? This is your fx only. Which one we have taken as a y? That is your fx only. So on place of fx, we can write 4x plus 3. Now remember, this is your y for g of y, and on place of y, we have to write 4x plus 3. Okay, so let's start 4x plus 3. Now we have written for this y, huh? So what is the remaining part? Minus 3 by 4, that is as it is. Now open this bracket, 4x plus 3 minus 3 by 4. What is the meaning of it? 4x by 4 and it is x. So what we have proved? G over f is identity. Similar way we can prove f over g also identity. So let's come for that part. Okay. Now this is your g of y. Now we are going to find f over g of y. Whenever we are writing g, y should be mentioned. So g of y. Now what is your g of y? Here we have already written y minus 3 by 4. Okay, so let's rough it. Now we have to put up, this is your x, and in which function we have to put up it? 4x plus 3. So 4 into, on place of x we will write y minus 3 by 4 plus 3. Now 4 cancel, y minus 3 plus 3, 3 cancel, so y. What do you prove? That f over g of y is y. So again identity. I have proved g over f of x equal to x means identity. F over g of y equal to y means identity. So both, what I have written, that f over g, g over f, both is identity. So f and g are inverse of each other. Okay, up till now what we have discussed, that inverse of f, it is your g, and what I have written as a g, fx is 4x plus 3. So we have written g of y as y minus 3 by 4. So what is your f inverse x? Suppose you are writing inverse, then on place of y you have to write x. So now we have proved that your inverse of f, that is x minus 3 by 4. So this is our 23rd example, in which we have used the concept of composition of a function. We have combined g over f and f over g, we prove it identity, and from that we have proved that f inverse is your y minus 3 by 4. Now come to the 24th example. What is your 24th example? N square, n belongs to n given. Now what is the function considered? N to y. Y fn equal to n square. And you have to check that f is invertible, and if it is invertible you have to find the inverse of it. Okay. So here first we find out f of n equal to n square. So let's take it y equal to n square. So n equal to root y. That is our first part. So if we consider this as a g of n, root y, or you can say g of y. Now let's combine f over g of y. So f of g of y. What is our g of y? Root y. So on place of g I have written root y. Now consider this as a n, and you have to put up in f. So what is your f of n? N square. So root y and its square. So it is y. What I have proved? F over g is identity. Similar way, let's come to the g over f of n. Here I have to write n because we have considered n here, and with g we have taken y. So we can write g of f of n. Now tell me, what is your f of n? N square only. So we can write f of n square. Now what is your g? Root y. So when I remove this, I have to write n square with root. Square and root cancel. Now what I get? G over f also identity. What is the meaning of it? If g over f identity, f over g identity, then g is the inverse of f. And how can you write? G of y equal to root y, or you can say f inverse n equal to root n. Okay, so that way we have proved it is inverse of this is root n. But remember, when you check for 1 1 and onto, square is there. So if it is given for which integers or natural numbers or real number, that you have to check first, because this function is not 1 1 and onto. So when you direct use concept of 1 1 and onto, at that time you have to check codomain and range, and accordingly you can find your inverse. Here we have used the concept of composition. So and your set is given. According to your set, your answer will be changed. Okay, so let's come to the next question, 25th. Your 25th question is given f n to r and f dash x is given 4x square plus 12x plus 15. So f dash n to s, where s is the range of f, is invertible, and find the inverse of it. Now first of all, check it. This is the quadratic given. So whenever quadratic given, we have to make it first perfect square. So what is the concept of finding last term? Because we have to set our last term. So last term equal to, what is the formula? Middle term square upon 4 into first term. This is our formula. So what is your middle term? 12. What is your first term? That is 4x square. So we can write 144x square upon 4 4s are 16 into x square. Okay. Now you know what is the arrangement of it? 16 9s are 144. So your last term should be 9. So 4x square. See, when you write 9, here we have 15, so 6 is remaining. So 4x square plus 12x plus 9 make a one term. So this became 2x plus 3 whole square plus 6. Now let's arrange it. We are taking this as a y. So y minus 6 equal to 2x plus 3 whole square. Now taking root on both sides. So y minus 6 equal to 2x plus 3. We are shifting 3 on this side. So y minus 6 minus 3 equal to 2x, or you can say x equal to under root y minus 6 minus 3 upon 2. We have arranged it. Okay, now what you have to check? After getting this term, you have to take this as a g of y. Then what you can say? F and g, combine it, g over f, f over g both. So first leave this function as it is, and now we combine two terms. Okay, your g of y is under root y minus 6 minus 3 by 2. Okay, now let's come to f over g, g over f. So g over f of x. So g of fx we are taking. So what is your fx here? Full this term, but we are writing it's like a plus 6 this way only, right? Because we have arranged this term. Now put up here. So how can you write? In root, on place of y, we can write 2x plus 3 whole square plus 6 minus 6 minus 3 by 2. First of all, plus or minus 6 cancel. Square and root removed. So we get 2x plus 3 minus 3 by 2. These 2 cancel. 2x by 2 will be x. So what we prove? G over f is identity. Means inverse of f is g only. From this we can understand. Now for our convenience we can check f over g also. So let's check it. Now we start f over g. Now g we have taken with y. So we are using y over here. So g of y. Now let's write what is your g of y? Under root minus 3 by 6. Now in fx here we just write fx like this also, because For our convenience, it is easiest way. Okay, now we have used this as a x. So we can write on place of x, we have to write full term. 2 into 2x plus 3 whole square plus 6 minus 6 minus 3 by 2. This way. So here we have this much term in root. So first of all, this 6 cancel. Now when you remove root, square and root cancel and this 2 cancel. So what is the remaining part? 2x plus 3. Sorry, not this 2. 2x plus 3 minus 3 by 2. So this 2 cancel and now you get x. So what we have proved? F over G also identity. So from this you can understand, if F over G is identity, G over F is identity, then F and G are inverse of each other. So we can write our F inverse x equal to under root x minus 6 minus 3 by 2. That is our inverse. So now let's come to the another question. Your next, this is your 25th question. Now 26th, check it. In 26th, you have given f n to n, g also from n to n, and third function h from n to n. Okay, now what is your fx given? That is 2x, g of y given, that is 3y plus 4, and h of z given, sin z. Now what you have to prove? H over g over f equal to h over g over f. Means you can check, we have to prove our associative law. Okay, let's come to this side. H over g over f of f with x. So we start with it. H of g of, on place of fx I can write 2x. Now you have to use this as a x and put up in g. So on place of y we are writing, what is it? On place of y we are writing 2x plus 4. The method is same. Now h of 6x plus 4. Now what is your hx? Hz is sin z. So on place of z you have to write 6x plus 4. Now check what we get as a sin 6x plus 4. This side also we are getting the same term or not. Okay, now into fx. So h of g of, on place of fx we can write again 2x. So h of, on place of g, 3 times 2x plus 4. So h of 6x plus 4, and what is your h? Sin z. So sin 6x plus 4. So check it, both sides we are getting the same thing. So our associative law is true, right? So we have completed 26th question. Now your next topic is, we continue with our next sum. So just now for this lecture I think this much is enough. We continue from next question in our next class. Thank you very much.